courts and they won. This means that the court says that it's a fundamental human rights issue. The need for you to associate with like minds if you want. You may not like it, but I have a feeling that along the line, once you stop paying, what do you call it now? Fees, whatever they give to them, grants, and they will die naturally.
Okay.
A lot of them are just businessmen looking for a quick buck during the election year, and that's what they can be negotiated with. But again, it's not peculiar to us. Most countries have small parties. We have regional parties. We even have parties that their policies are so abhorrent that you don't think they will win. But most of them are now major players in their countries. You'll be surprised. So every opinion must be accounted for. Every person has the right to be voted for, to vote. And we cannot take away the reality that they can do that. I know it's mungus. I know there are many. Ultimately, you and I know that the 2-3 parties that of importance will sort themselves out. The rest will die natural death.
I understand the part of us being in a democratic system and the part of human rights and all of that. But then how is it helping our electoral process? Mr. Shokwito, is it helping in any way?
Well, so there are two angles to it. There is the angle of freedom of association, freedom, the right to express and aspire. You can't, any society that wishes to run a democracy cannot prevent people from aspiring. It's a fundamental and natural part of the process. But having said that, you also don't want a situation where you've got 1,000 parties. It becomes confusing at the end of the day. And in some regards, it's even expensive. I'm aware that INEC right now does not provide subventions for these parties anymore. However, there are still associated costs to having a large number. For instance, your ballot paper. So if we are fortunate, in quotes, enough to have 91 presidential candidates, just imagine how long the ballot paper will be and how much, how expensive it could actually triple the cost of stationery, which is a major element of the cost of an election. So yes, it's good and has to be encouraged to some extent for people to, associate as you will, come together if your ideas align, design your logo, set up your offices, meet the requirements, get registered. But like Akogun has said, nature will take care of them. And the ones that are not serious enough will eventually fizzle out. I found it interesting that in support of, let people register when they want. I found it interesting that the party that Emmanuel Macron ran on to become the president of France was actually formed in 2016.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing. He didn't have a political platform per se. In fact, he deliberately stayed away from the major political parties and went with his movement. And then having brought people from diverse, that allowed people from other parties who associated with his ideas come together under his movement while maintaining their membership of their own political parties. And then as the elections approached, they coalesced and formed a party. And he won. So that Macron is the evidence, is justification of why it's important to keep the space open. Allow as many people as want to join. Invariably, out of this 91 in any case, you won't have more than 20 at the very most presenting presidential candidates. That's the reality. The rest of them will not have the funding required to do that. So it's, and eventually, 2 years from now, let's check the space again. Out of that 91, you probably have whittled down again because they won't exist. The danger, however, is that sometimes some of these parties are shells waiting to be used. So I think INEC does,
because
INEC does have a role to play.
What we are all working towards is a free, fair, and perhaps a credible elections, So, but if we have those kind of pockets of parties waiting to be used to interfere, you understand, with the process
and play mischief. So INEC has a role to play in terms of regulation, in terms of ensuring that these parties are real and they do stand for something. So once INEC plays his own role as a regulator, we should be fine.
Okay. Akon, you want to say something?
Well, the reality is the fact that the kind of democracy that we run is very, very expensive. So It's just another notch on top of the massive expense that we incur running this kind of democracy. Remember, there are some democracies where all you require is 10% of the votes to come into government. And then there are some parties that ensure that no matter what you do, you must bring 30% of women from that area. And some even have for disabled people that you must have 3, 4, 5. So democracy is a choice. And you can have a spinal cord party or whatever name you want to call it. So, but at the end of the day, majority will have their way, minority will have their say.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that, you say the spinal cord party, but it's for real. In the United States, you have a party called the Marijuana Party. Their fundamental and primary reason for existence is legalization of weed, cannabis. You have a party called the Pirate Party. they want cultism and all of that. So it's
okay. All right. Adegorere from Ibadan sent in another message, and it says, inasmuch as the numerous political parties may seem ridiculous, strengthening the local government system may help some of the parties to hold their own in their small corners of the country.
Good point.
I understand that. All right, this one says, good day to you all. I just need to ask, does anyone think in his or her right mind that Nigeria as a country can make a law that will be effective to the rich when it is obvious that the lawmakers are the first to break the law? Okay, this one's still reacting to the first topic. All right, let's move it along to our next topic of the day, which is Nigeria's low insurance patronage. Recently, a group of industry experts lamented the country's low insurance penetration. According to them, not more than 5% of Nigeria's population is currently subscribed to a legitimate insurance policy. This, unfortunately, is due to the relatively low level of insurance awareness in Nigeria and the poor state of the economy over the years. Hence, they are not able to fully realize the benefit of this aspect of fund mobilization. And of course, this has fostered unnecessary dependence on the government during adverse situations, particularly within the informal sector. All right, let's take a quick break to go see what Nigerians even think or know about insurance. We'll be back.
Insurance is basically planning for the unknown, uncertainty that comes with life. That's it, basically. People are not really aware. It's something that they should take seriously because uncertainty is part of life. There are risks involved in everything we do. So from insuring your house to your car to properties you have, it's actually a very wise thing to do.
Insurance, to me, is to safeguard against loss and risk. Insurance is good, but Nigerians, the general view about insurance is wrong, because when it comes to premium, they expect you to pay premium, but at the end, when the loss occurs, you have to go through stress before you can get your claim. So it's very, very ethic.
When you want to sell a policy to a customer, a client, let them know what it entails, let them know how they can get their funds back in case of any eventuality. Basically, when you let people know what it entails, and they should make it a lot more simpler, easy, I'm sure many people would like to venture into it.
Yes, now, this guy is insured now. Third-party insurance, comprehensive insurance. Yes, health, car, house. Yeah, I'm thinking of taking a life insurance.
People should be more enlightened about how important insurance is, because it actually is. It actually is very important for people to have insurance. But due to the amount of workforce that we have in Nigeria and the amount people are being paid for their labor, I mean, how much do you have before you start insuring? Very little. You need to have something concrete to live on before you start thinking about insuring the rest.
before we go into this topic, we have a couple more messages reacting to the political issue. This one says, I suggest that there should be a legislation to reduce the parties to 3 or ask them to pay remittance to government. You see, they will fold up. This one says the parties are just too many. Just consider the extra cost of having to put their logos on the ballot papers, and most will score 0 votes in almost all elections. Maybe what we need is to register some of them as regional or local government level parties, so we don't have to be burdened at all levels with them. Also, INEC needs to put a cap on the number of parties that they can accommodate. Joe from Ikeja sent that one in. This other one says oh, okay, I think I read this one already. Okay, all right, let's move it along. Nigeria's low insurance patronage. We all know what insurance is, you know, but then I was discussing with a colleague, it's one of the hardest things to sell in Nigeria today. Why? Is it because we still don't appreciate what insurance can do for us, you know, as a people? Or what exactly is wrong with us?
Well, you know, I mean, it's, I think it's a multifaceted issue. I won't say problem. It's a problem to the economy, you know, but it's an issue that we need to look at. So, one, we have our cultural values and the fact that we're such a religious society. For some people, taking out an insurance policy is a demonstration of a lack of faith. It means that you don't trust God. And I'm talking across board, whether they're Muslims, whether they're Christians or whatever. I mean, a friend of mine was involved in an accident a couple of years ago. His car was totaled by an articulated vehicle on Lagos-Ibadan Express. And to our shock, we discovered that the guy didn't even have third-party insurance. So, of course, he was in trouble with the police and all that. But when we're talking to their lawyer, the guy said it's against his faith. You know, that he, not him as a person, but that's what his client was telling him, that why should he take out insurance, that God will take care of him, you know. So that's a problem on the one hand. So we've got our values and our, you know, our faith and our beliefs to blame on the one hand, but also the insurance industry itself needs to take a very careful and close look at themselves and find out what they are doing wrong. They've got to be doing something wrong. If your insurance penetration is as low as 5%,
5%.
I mean, penetration of banking services. 5%
of almost 200 million.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad.
It's really,
that's
really
terrible.
Low. Yeah.
Penetration of banking services in Nigeria, you are still hovering around 35, 40% now, and the CBN has very deliberate policies to improve financial inclusion. So, what is the insurance industry doing to help the public confidence in the sector? People still have doubts and skepticism about whether their policies will get paid or not, apart from maybe the top 5, 6 insurance practitioners. The answer is in the wind. If you have an accident, how quickly can I get my claims paid? Exactly. You know, and all of that. Those problems are there. So when you as an insurance salesman goes out, you are faced with the problem of the faith of this man. Then when you are done with it, if you manage to convince him, then the person now throws the other problem to you. Will you pay my claims? You know, and all that. And then they give you stories upon stories of people that have not had claims. HMOs are a part of the insurance industry. It's another story entirely. With due apologies to the industry, it's a scam. I mean, I know a very, very close person that has been defrauded. We're doing a complaint to the CPC right now about this HMO. You know, so they've got all of those problems that they need to sort out to help the confidence of the public to patronize that system a bit more. Until they do that, it's going to get worse.
Wow. All right, Akogo.
Well, we have to realize the fact that the insurance has a very bad rep as an industry. Not only in Nigeria, all over the world. But what works for other countries is that there is a deliberate law to ensure that insurance plays a part in whatever transaction that you do. Just like we do for our car insurance here. Most countries across the board, if you have an accident, just show me your insurance. I don't need to bother anybody. They will do it under 48 hours. Whether it's repairs or replacements. But in Nigeria, we all
even
know,
the car insurance we do here, most of them.
the car insurance is because the law says you must have it. But if the law says you must have insurance to when you build the house, you must have insurance when you, what else do you do? Even come to a TV station. Basically, you know what I'm saying? No, it's true. Your analyst must be insured under certain conditions. I was on CNN, as you know, I do things for Deutschweiler. And you know you are insured. For example, if I'm doing the course of analysis, I crack my voice. I'll just give an example. I have the legitimate rights to sue them because I was doing it on behalf of their station when it happened. I will give you examples of how bad our lack of insurance etiquette is within the system. So it's across the board. But I think what we need to do is what the government has done for the banking sector.
Okay.
Ensure that certain elements are car insurance. You want to pay for your building, you must show me proof that you are capable of paying insurance on that building. If you are paying tenement rates, you must show proof that your building, you are paying tenement rate is insured. And things like that at that level will still not take us beyond 10, 20%. But that would be a big leap for the 5% we have. Like we all know, a lot of people believe that insurance is just an acceptance, that you are women, that you are no longer a child of God, or it's not your portion. Portion is relative. You don't leave your house with a bad tire, and we are guaranteed God will not look after it. And that's the way it works. So we must get to it. But I think government, because to grow the economy, insurance is key. And you cannot pretend somewhere you are. Even for farmers that we are trying to save, they must be insured. It will be a class insurance, but they must be insured. Our soldiers, our policemen, there are so many things that can be insured that will raise the value from 5% to about 30, 40. But it's those very people that we ignore the need for insurance.
Yeah, I think government needs to do a bit of enforcement. You know, there was a time where you can't even get your child into school if you didn't have like a tax clearance or something. It made a lot of people begin to, to do the right thing at that time. All right, someone is already reacting. Usman from Ibadan. Low insurance patronage. What about the insurance we do every year when renewing our vehicle papers?
That's about the only insurance.
That's about the only insurance that an average Nigerian, really does, and that is not even like proper insurance and all of that. Okay, yeah, we have identified the fact that the government has its blame. The insurance companies themselves, don't have like a very good record. Yes, because we've all heard stories of people who actually did it, and at the end of the day, it didn't pay off. So, corrective measures. And now, what should we all begin to do?
I think one of the things that the sector needs to start looking at is the way the banking industry has gone after financial inclusion very deliberately. There are very deliberate policies to improve access to banking services by the average Nigerian across board. The insurance sector needs to make insurance, one, cheaper, two, accessible. Now, technology has made things so easy these days. So there are fintech companies today where I think that the insurance sector just needs to borrow a leaf from their cousins in the banking sector. They're all part of the financial system and leverage on technology. So fintech companies today can approve small value loans between 10,000 naira to maybe 250,000 naira on the spot, using algorithms that check your behavior online, your spending habits, your usage of airtime, and all of those things, and they make a yes or no decision for a loan for you. The insurance business needs to look at micro-insurance, for instance, and start looking at how they can help Boda Mufu, the vulcanizer, or Boda Kola, the carpenter, to ensure their small business against, for instance, flooding. Look at the amount of damage that has happened from flooding in the last 2 months across the country. Imagine if all of those homes were insured using some sort of technology that makes insurance available to them for, say, little premium amounts of maybe 1,000 or 2,000 naira per annum. It's about the volumes. The irony is that we've got a massive population 200 million Nigerians. What are we doing? I mean, this is money. Multiply, you can do all the multiply effects of all of that and how you can aggregate money from all of these people and think about the effect of that on the financial system as a whole. Just like you said, the insurance industry is a major player in the financial system. If they are not doing well, it will affect the performance of our economy.
Okay. All right, Akogun. Another thing is Nigerians seem to think insurance is for the rich. Because you approach someone trying to sell insurance, they'll be like, I never chopped my insurance. But how do we begin to change that perception?
In the same way we tried, and we're still trying to change the perception about banking.
Okay.
About savings. Our people have been saving from time immemorial. And they have a system that works. Just like this, Isusu people in markets. Insurance can apply the same templates. Fine. All of you are making 100 million. Set aside $1 million in case of an emergency. Insurance is basically about aggregation.
Exactly.
That if 100 people paid, maybe 1 or 2 will have problems. And the money for the 100 will not use to offset the 1 or 2. They don't expect everybody to have fire at the same time because they are paying insurance. So they need to apply the same thing that our parents have done for hundreds of years. Do group insurance, or what they call American class insurance. Since you want to go to a market and said, this entire market has 500 shops. Pay 500 naira a month on the aggregate for everybody. That will amount about 5 million. 5 million a month will be a big money. At the end of the year, you are looking at about 60 million. If there's a fire in one shop, that can be accommodated. And it can be rebuilt and repaired and resuscitated as it were. It's unless they come back to that basic level of insurance and stop all these high faulting things, it will fail. Then they must also remember that inflation is a major factor that stop people from doing insurance, especially life insurance. Because life insurance is actually a savings for countries or for systems where inflation is very low. Let's say you can project maybe 30% inflation in 30 years. It's not possible in Nigeria. A man that takes on 100,000 as life insurance in 1980 will realize that his money is just good enough for a couple of weeks in 2008.
Exactly.
So it's part of the problem they have to solve. If you are going to factor in inflation, we're going to do that in such a manner that will ensure that the money paid will still have value at the end of the day, if the man refuses to die on time like he thought. So it's a psychological thing. So we can spend a whole program looking at this and we'll still not get to the bottom of it. I think the basic to do is this. Help us remove our religiousness. It's different from being religious.
I think that is one of the major issues, We are
basically hypocrites. It's a eye service. We pretend to be religious, but everything that we do is anti-religious.
It's the opposite.
Okay. All right. Kingsley Onyibe from Zamfara State says, I'm against any law that will force people to do insurance because even pension is hardly being paid.
So that's a scam. Don't even bother to ask about that.
Okay. And I think a lot of people also don't know that you can insure almost anything. If this biro is precious to me, I can get it insured. This mug, if I feel it's precious, I can get it insured. You have a farm. I mean, even a mechanic, your expensive equipment.
There's insurance for your phone screen, for the screen.
They insure their voice. Insure their hands if they are digitized.
Even their buttocks, for the fake ones, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Very precious one.
Thank you for coming on the show this afternoon. Many thanks to Mr. Segun Shokwiton. Thank you, sir, for coming. He's a business and financial consultant. And many thanks also to Akogun Gani Kayode Balogun. Thank you, sir. He's a renowned journalist. All right, so that's the show for today, this Wednesday afternoon. It's still a holiday. For those of you who are lucky enough to be at home from work, enjoy it. All right, no beefing here. All right, I'm okay with it. All right, we'll see you tomorrow at noon. Enjoy the rest of the holidays. Bye.